everyone and welcome. This is Elena and I'm back today with another video showing you how to get more use out of your Chameleon pens. So you just saw two cards and I'm gonna show you how to make those. And the technique for today is adding dimension on your stamped images using your Chameleon pens. So I have two techniques in one. One is adding dimension your blender pen, and the second one is adding dimension with your colored Chameleon pens. So this technique works on when you're using the Hero Art shadow inks, like the previous one that I showed you last week when we did the fall watercolor and the fall vellum overlay. And the alcohol ink, the formulation of the Hero Arts ink pads is such as that they react with the alcohol-based markers, such as Chameleon pens. So I'm using here, I have previously stamped this color layering seahorses, and I'm using some of the soft pool and ocean, deep ocean, which is hybrid, not the shadow ink. So I'm not coloring on top of the hybrid ink, but I'm coloring of the top of the second layer using that blender pen. And you can notice that where I colored with the blender pen, the color started to lift up and get lighter. So next I'm going with the shell, and I'm coloring on top of those darker lines that I've stamped with the Capajo shadow ink, again from Hero Arts. And you will notice that I'll compare those with a regularly stamped shell, and you will notice that this one is lighter. So you see how you get more dimension using the blender. So now I'm going again with the colorless blender over the seahorse to add even more dimension. So here, both side to side, and you can notice the lines where it's lighter. So that's the first technique. The next technique is adding dimension with the pens, the blend where we infuse them. So I'm stamping this flower from You're So Lovely stamp set, and I'm stamping it twice to get darker color. I'm using the Mini Misty tool, so I have perfect positioning. So then I'm going to use at first I tried the technique with, well, I just scribbled on the side, didn't really try the turquoise, which is one of my favorite colors, and it was very close to the soft pool. So then I decided to go with the aquamarine, and I'm using the bullet nib of the marker because we have like this kind of thinner areas. So I'm infusing it for a couple seconds and then just coloring in. And when I move my hand, you will see that we got a little bit dimension onto that petal. So I'm going to continue coloring each single petal. And I decided to infuse it for a little bit less time so I get a deeper color on the edge of the petals. So now I'm going to speed up the video so you're not bored watching me infuse and color every single petal. So if you don't know how the Chameleon pens work, I have several other videos, including the Chameleon review video where I'm exactly showing you how they work and what's the principle of the Chameleon pens. So if you look at my YouTube channel, I have a playlist created for all my projects using Chameleon pens, so you can find more information there. So you can see how this flower is building dimension. Well, that sentence didn't really make sense, but you can see how the flower is getting some dimension, and it's getting more getting that more 3D effect. And I apologize if you can hear my kids in the background. They're going a little crazy upstairs. So we're kind of coming here to be almost finished. So you can see, you can clearly tell which petals are colored on top of them with the Chameleon pen. And how it works, it's like on one side, even you can get lighter because I infused the pen and there is this blending solution that has the characteristic of lifting that ink off the paper. So, and then the color comes out, the ink, with a marker, so you get like that darker look on the other end of the petals. So now I'm going with a little bit darker for the center, because usually in the center it's kind of darker. And I'm infusing it for even shorter amount of time. Or for a couple of the petals, I didn't infuse the pen at all. And you can tell the difference. So we're almost done here. And next what I'll do is I'm going to stamp again the same flower on the other side, so you can see the comparison, how it looks when it's stamped just with the ink and then colored with the Chameleon pens. So next I'll just put the card together. I have this cutout panel out of Nina White 80-pound cardstock, and I'm stamping the stem of the rose. I'm just going to position first to see how I want everything to look. So I'm using the lime green ink pad to stamp the stem, and I'm going over it again to get a little bit darker color. And then I'm going to position the sentiment. And for that I'm using the transparency grid. You can download those on the Misty website, the mysweetpetunia.com, under downloads, and then you can print it on some transparency, or you can send it to Kinko's or Staples or Office Depot, and they're gonna print it for you. So next I'm stamping the sentiment using Onyx Black VersaFine ink. And this ink takes a little bit longer to dry. So you'll notice as I'm coloring now, I'm using the dark sage marker to color in the stem and the leaf. You'll notice as I start coloring here, I'm gonna smear that ink a little bit on the sentiment. So the first time I infused my marker a little bit too long, so I'm going over it again. I'm infusing it just for a couple seconds. So now I did that smear, and I'm using sand eraser mono from Tombow to correct my the smears. So then I'm coloring the stem using the same principle as I did the flower. So next we can just put everything together. I'm gonna pop that flower on dimensionals and just adhere it. So next I already cut another panel using the pool layering papers from Hero Arts, and I'm adhering it onto white card base, which is Nina White 110 pounds cardstock, and I'm using my Misty to adhere those two layers perfectly. So I'm usually the Misty tool is great for that too. You just slide your card base in the corner. Usually I use the upper right corner, and then adhere your layer on top of it again, sliding it to the upper right corner, and everything lines up perfectly. So there we have that, and then on top we can adhere our stamp panel. So next I'm adding some dimensionals on the back, or you can use foam mounting tape for the same thing. I just had those handy, so use those, or you can use the fun foam. So there is that card, and then I'm just adding some sequins. Then I added a little pull pearl in the middle of the flower, and with this our card will be finished. I'm just adding those little 2 sequins at the end. And there we have it. So here's the card up close, so you can see that dimension. So next is the seahorse card. So I already cut and embossed this panel. I use Nina White, and I use Hero Arts background stamp that I stamped in Versamark and then embossed it with clear embossing powder. So I'm positioning that panel again onto my card front, and I'm using from the color layering goldfish the little algae, and I'm gonna stamp those using the lime green ink. So I'm going over them again to get a little bit darker color. Next, I'm putting again my front to see how it looks, and then I'm just going to position again the same stamps and stamp again to get more kind of interest in the background. Just before putting those onto your white card base, you need to make sure that your stamps are clean, so then you don't leave marks onto that card front. So I'm stamping again twice, and then I'll just stamp the bubbles from the color layering goldfish using soft pull ink. And I'm just using acrylic block for those because I'm not mass producing, I'm just doing this one card. So there we have that, and that looks perfect for me. So next I'm taking some transparency, and I'm gonna adhere it using sticky tape on the back of that front panel. So you can just go in square, and instead of doing this crazy thing that I'm doing here. And I had a little trouble with the tape here. And then just adhere that. And there we have that. That looks good. So next I'm going again with the blender pen, and I'm adding some dimension onto the little seagrass. So I'll show you up close for a little bit so you can see how on this panel it's easier to see the dimension that the blender pen gave to my image. So there I just compare those two. It went kind of fast, but I'll show you my blog. You can see close-up pictures of the color layering seahorse and the full card actually. So next I'm adding some dimensionals, actually mounting tape. I'm cutting thin strips. I'm adding around the circle to create that shaker card, to create that slot for all the sequins. So I discovered that if I cut thin strips from the mounting tape, it's very flexible and you can shape it around in a circle. It works perfectly for shaker cards, not shaper cards. So there's up close. And now I'm adding more mounting tape around. So you notice that I have that card front in the upper corner of the Misty, because on top of it I'll adhere that white cardstock card base that we already stamped. I'm just putting all the sequins in the middle, and I'm gonna secure the card front with a magnet to make sure it doesn't move, and I'm adhering on top that card base. So next I have the seahorse, and I'm gonna stamp my sentiment. Again, I'm using the Misty. I cut a thin strip of white cardstock, And I'm using the sentiment from the color layering seahorse, You, Me, and the Sea. So next I'll just trim it down and using adhesive I'll adhere it to over that window on my card. So I think that looks fine there. So now we're gonna just finish the card, adhere the sentiment, and for the seahorse I'll use some dimensionals. So this will be it for today. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog at elenacrowes.com. And I'll be back soon in the next couple days with another video, another techniques how to get more out of your chameleon pens. So here the cards. Thanks for watching and see you soon. Bye.